You ready? Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to the December Town of Ocean Ridge Commission meeting. Tracy, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Askov,
Present.
Commissioner Bonfiglio,
Here.
Mayor Pugh,
Here.
and let the record show that Commissioner Cos and Commissioner Lucibella are absent with notice. Commissioner Cos called at 2:30 p.m. to let us know he is unexpectedly delayed due to mechanical issues with his flight from the Bahamas. And Commissioner Lucibella sent the following message via email. I need to go to Miami on a family emergency. I'm not certain if I'll make it back for the start of tonight's meeting. Please send my apologies to the mayor and commission if I am not in attendance.
All right, great. Now, you all know that you can use these other seats, or they're available. All right, let's. That is a press over there. Maybe you don't want to get too close. No offense, Diane. All right, let's pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everyone. All right, so you see before you all the minutes. Is there any other deletions, modifications?
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
Motion second. Any other comment? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Only 3 of us tonight, so we're going pretty quick. All right, so public comment. Yes, sir.
Jerry Garay, 130 Island Drive, Ocean Ridge. Members of the commission, staff. I'm here as a concerned citizen, resident, as well as chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I'd like to present to the commission 2 issues for your consideration. Number 1, derelict, unkept, negligent houses, lots, and construction sites. Now, the vast majority of Ocean Ridge is beautiful, but it just takes 1 or 2 sore thumbs to send a bad message, and worse than that, it's catchy. Let me point to 2 examples. Right next door to City Hall, you've got a driveway stanchion right next to the public sidewalk that's been crumbling for a year now. Now, not only is it unsightly, but it's also a safety hazard. Nobody has done anything about it. Number 2, a lot of construction sites are very well maintained in the city, but there's a couple, one in particular today, right up the street, that are about the messiest, unkept sites I've ever seen, up and down A1A. Now,
Where is that, Jerry?
just up the street, I don't want to get into,
Okay.
okay,
Okay,
if you know what I mean. Now, I can tell you from firsthand experience, unfortunately, and maybe because they're busy otherwise, I will submit that, again, from firsthand experience, I'll submit that our independent building official and inspectors are not really focused on that. Yes, they're focused on important things, they're focused on code compliance and focused on safety, and great, and they do a good job. But there's some other things that they might want to look after. So in that regard, a couple solutions. Number 1, let's take a look at standards, number 1, and number 2, enforcement. And how do we do that? We take a look at some of the other ordinances up and down the street here. Boca, Delray, Gulfstream. We started that under the prior administration, but never got too far. Let's give it another shot. We can initiate it at the at P&Z, or I'd be happy to work with staff or with the commission. I think it should be a priority. Number 2, years ago, maybe 2 years ago, Planning and Zoning approved a recommendation to the commission to reconsider our FAR. Now, we have a lot of younger families moving into Ocean Ridge. Nice thing. Number 2, lots property has gotten very expensive. So I think without creating a bulky, massive houses, we can do something to give families more storage, more room in the house, in the living portion of the house, by doing what the P&Z had recommended, and that is give a 50% credit against the garage size to increase the livable area in the house. And I think we should take another look at that.
Oh, thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
We'll take a look at that stanchion. Right, Jamie? That stanchion he's talking about? The
Oh,
driveway stanchion?
absolutely, yes. And
Yes, sir.
Dr. Ted Ritoda, 4 Hudson Avenue. Good evening. I want to say to the commissioners, we look like we're a board of diminishing commissioners, but in any event, I bit my tongue all weekend with all the socializing we've done, and I saved business for the business room. It's not a big issue, but it's an issue for me. I live in Ocean Ridge because I love going to the beach. Okay, right now, our Edith Street access is shut off to everybody. It's a disaster scenario for those that like to go to the beach. The steps themselves, I know you got building inspectors and whatnot, but I believe that, I know there's some stuff going on, but if we wait and wait and wait, we're gonna miss an entire season, and we'll probably have a more hazardous scenario if we don't do something temporarily. What I'm asking for you guys to do is either, right now, the steps, what they need is a 6x6 support for the one that doesn't go into the ground, that now has a 4x4 helping it get into the ground. A 6x6 extension to put those into the ground, and maybe a sign saying use of the steps is at your own liability on a temporary basis until we get the permitting or wherever else is going to be done, as opposed to completely shutting us off, which is the case right now. Another holiday party that you guys weren't at this weekend was on Hudson Avenue, and everybody's pretty much boiling over about why we can't get our beach access straightened out. It's been quite a fair amount of time, a number of weeks. I know the permitting process of what's going on to the property to the south, and that never happens fast, okay? Let me remind you, and some of you may remember, you may not, before these walkovers were constructed, it was basically a ditch in the sand that we walked up and down to get to the beach. That's better than what we got right now. So I would really appreciate it if you guys could get together, do something on a temporary basis so that the residents are not shut out for the beach during the whole season. Any feedback?
Thank you, Ted. Next, please. Any other public comment? Stella?
Hi, Stella Kolb, 204 Beachway. First, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday. And in the spirit of the holiday, as vice president of the garden club here, I would love for you all to contribute something to us. We're having our 50th anniversary this year. We've got quite a lot of expenses, and the garden club does do quite a bit for the town. And I've talked to Jamie about it, and I hope that you are all in compliance to help us out. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else for public comment? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you. All right, okay, we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion and second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, announcements and proclamations. Town Hall will be closed on Monday, December 26th in observance of Christmas Day. Town Hall will also be closed on Monday, January 2nd in observance of New Year's Day. And due to the New Year's Day holiday, the Town Commission will hold its regular meeting on January 9th, 2017. All right, moving on to public hearings. The application, Tracy, you want to go into this one?
Sure. An application submitted by Palm Properties, 4783 North Congress Avenue, Boynton Beach, Florida, 33426, representing the owner Elliot Zank, 5550 Coastal Drive, Boca Raton, Florida, 33487, requesting a land development permit from the provisions of Land Development Code, Article 2, Coastal Construction, Section 6717, Coastal Construction and Excavation Setback Lines, Subparagraph A, Setback Line Established, and Subparagraph H, existing structures to permit the construction of a new two-story single-family residence with a two-car garage, with the furthest extension of the structure at 67 feet 3.5 inches plus or minus east of the coastal construction control line, and the pool deck will extend a maximum of 16 feet 1 3/4 inch plus or minus east of the coastal construction control line. The house finished floor slab elevation will be 15.9 feet NAVD. Property is located at 5006 Old Ocean Boulevard.
All right, thank you, Tracy. All right, I believe we reviewed this. Jamie, has everything been reviewed?
Yes, it has, and we have our zoning official here tonight as well as the applicant, I believe.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for the applicant or the zoning official?
No,
No?
not for me.
All right, well, hearing none, want to make a motion?
I move that we approve the applicant's request to construct a two-story single-family home on property east of the CCCL, subject to approval from the State Department of Environmental Protection and the County Health Department.
I'll second it.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, moving on to reports. Jamie?
Thank you, Mayor. In brevity, my written report is in your backup. I covered the topics under this month's report of the recent completion of the Town Hall parking lot sealing and restriping. We are working on some contracts to further clean up the Ocean Avenue calophyllum trees and some of the issues those are creating on Ocean. The Woolbright Detention Area Maintenance Upgrade Contract is being finalized with some extensive input from the attorney, and but meanwhile, we've increased maintenance efforts down there to remove some of the vegetation issues, and that will be increased substantially under the contract we're letting. There's a mention about the police department. We have some openings coming up in that in dispatch, and people should be aware of that. They can apply. Those are posted online. I did mention the Edith Street Beach crossover in my report, just to kind of piggyback on the earlier comments, that structure that is over the dune there was essentially condemned by our building official. A Good Samaritan attempted to repair it, and we are trying to work with all parties to get it repaired in a suitable way so we can reopen it as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, just as an aside, Mr. Olafson to the south and the property to the north are looking at some mitigative measures to deal with the dune erosion there, and we're hoping we can leverage or piggyback with them. But because of the necessity to get the crossover open, we will prioritize that first.
All right, do you think we can knock that out next week or get it done?
I'll certainly make that the priority and see if we can't get that done.
Let me ask you this question. What is the closest private beach access to the Edith? And what's the possibility of asking that owner to allow our residents to use their private access until we repair Edith?
Where's Betty? Huh? Where's Betty? I think that's what
No,
the
Betty's out of town.
She locks her gate.
Unfortunately.
Yes, Betty left.
Betty's at it, that's right.
Well, if we can get that thing fixed in a week, I mean,
Well, I mean, while he's doing that, if something happens, maybe we can ask the, adjacent owner if the public.
There's one,
The
well, in
residents
terms
can
of
use their-
public crossovers, there's one at the end of Ocean, there's one at Anna, and the.
Yeah, but I'm
first at
talking
Public
about the
Beach.
next closest private access. Do y'all know? Is public?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the properties right in that immediate area are A1A to Ocean properties,
Okay.
and there aren't really pathways through them, short of going through somebody's house or living room, so I don't think we'd get permission for that, but.
I tried.
Chief, you got something on that?
I think the issue comes with the fact that the property to the north and south of the crossover itself are experiencing the same things. So it's not as if that's the only place that has been condemned. Other people have lost their complete beach crossovers.
Yeah, we've lost infrastructure from north of the Edith Street area that we're talking about all the way to south of Anna Street and further. In fact, even down at the south end of town, we've got some permits in the works for reconstruction of beach crossovers and the like. the post-storm conditions of king tides and high winds and swells and erosion are more severe this year than have been in a long time. So it's affected everybody along there.
All right,
But I
so-
agree with Dr. Risotto that, you know, it's probably easier to slide down the sand than deal with the steps the way they are today. And we have to get the building official to
Rice.
approve our repairs.
All right, well, so if we.
I will prioritize it as you
All right.
requested.
Thank you.
I got one other question on the Woolbright. Can we get a date when you plan to meet with the residents? That's an issue that my neighbors are all interested in.
Assuming the paperwork goes well between the attorney and I and the contractor, and that's being reviewed by the contractor right now, we can do that in the next 2 weeks. So if you want to just look at a date in the next 2 weeks that fits for everybody, we'll set that up.
How do you plan to let people know of the date? Do you want input from me? Do you want input from the
Right.
residents? What do you want?
Right, Mr. Magruder's here. He obviously will be one of the participants because we are going to just set up the meeting with the immediate adjacent residential properties to the facility, which is really the south side of Ridge.
Are you calling, are you sending email? How are you doing that?
We'll reach out to everybody. Haven't decided whether we'll personally call them or send them an email.
Okay, thank you.
Next week is better for you? Okay, noted.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Jamie?
I'm sorry, yes, I just wanted to briefly update, Mr. Kaz isn't here this evening, but we met with him and a number of our town engineer and some vendors recently to look at some traffic calming and street articulation, emerging technology, and we were all very elated and excited about it, and we'll be bringing back some proposals if it fits in the context of what we're trying to do. We're getting pricing. We actually have already received samples and brochures to distribute to all of you for the purpose of branding and traffic calming. And it's innovative in that it's much less impactful than some of the construction installation we've been talking about prior to this.
All right, great.
And Commissioner Kaz is on board too. I think he likes it, and Chief was there, and the town engineer and others.
So January on that?
In terms of bringing it forward in the January meeting, we can, I presume, if we get our quote back,
Okay.
and with samples and brochures.
So is that it?
January, you want it on the
No, is that
agenda?
it for your,
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I have a couple other quick
Oh, okay.
things. Sorry. First of all, I want to acknowledge a very successful lighting of the lights and holiday gathering on Friday, and I specifically would like to thank the Garden Club with a shout out to Stella Cobb, Betty Bingham, Marilee Lindquist, also Barbara Cook, Joan Beck, Julia Walker, Val Kaz, Lisa Risotto, Barbara Souther, Ann Alexander, and Pat Saunders. I think we're all involved with the tree and the setup in here, and we really appreciate all the work that you all did. And also 2 community service students that we got from Park Vista High School, Elise Dormfeld and Jarrett Tran, who both came and put in 5 or 6 hours for community service credit for us. So my hat's off to all of them, and we couldn't do it without the volunteers and everybody, so we appreciate. Lynn, I think you were involved too, and anybody else, I hope I didn't miss anybody, but that's the list I have. So thank you for your efforts to make the town look festive and to have a really nice open house. Appreciate that.
it was a nice crowd. The biggest crowd
It
we've
was a
had
great
in
crowd.
probably 2 or 3 years. So it was a nice crowd.
And I just, well, I think the other thing I'll leave for the next month's meeting to give you an update on. We have a new innovation we're working on, but I'll wait till next month to.
Okay. So to sum up, we're going to try to get the beach crossover fixed post haste, right?
That's my top priority, that and the detention area meeting.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for Jamie? No. Nope. All right. Brian?
I don't think I have any report.
Oh, thank you. All right, Chief, your turn.
Attached, you'll find the monthly report from October. As usual, I just wanted to make everyone aware that I will be attending the Florida Chiefs Winter Conference at the next scheduled commission meeting. in Orlando. However, I will have one of my lieutenants here to answer your questions, as always. I will be available after the meeting to answer questions, or now, if you'd like. If you don't have any questions, I would like to introduce Chief Glenn Joseph from Boynton Fire Department. He is your fire chief. He's fairly new to Boynton, and we've been trying to work this into one of our meetings. He's wanted to come for several months, but between his schedule and ours, tonight was the most available and the best choice. He wanted to introduce himself and answer any questions you may have and make himself available.
Come on up, Chief.
Council, Glenn Joseph, Boynton Beach Fire Chief. I've been here since in May. I came to Boynton Beach, and Chief Hutchins and I worked well together with contracts and Mr. Titcomb. So I just wanted to introduce myself, let you know what I look like and who I am. And I'll be coming to meetings not on a regular basis, but certainly intermittently if you have any questions or positions, I could address any answers for you. So I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Glenn. I'm here. Any communications, Chief Hutchins and I speak almost at least twice a month on any issues, so I could always be reached through him. Thank
Well, we
you.
really appreciate you coming by and saying hello to us, that's for sure.
Well, I'll try to make myself more available, but every other month, every third month, I'll try to stop in just to.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Any other questions for the chief? Police chief? No? No? Thank you, chief. All right, moving on to the action items. Brian, you want to start?
Yes, pursuant to state statute, you all appointed a auditor selection committee who came up with criteria. We did an RFP. We've got 3 responses to that auditing RFP. The selection committee met again. They ranked the auditing firms, and the firm that was selected was Nolan, Holt, and Minor, which actually is the same firm that the town has used for a number of years. And that's who we are recommending that's who the selection committee has recommended that you go with. In front of you also is, to this, is a couple of edits to the contract that was in the backup, and I am okay with those edits. So if you're okay with the agreement, you can approve it subject to the edits that you see in front of you. And I don't know if you have any questions or not.
Do you have any questions for Brian?
I was on the audit
Yeah.
control committee, so I had all my questions answered.
I don't have any questions either. Yes, Jim?
Just for the record, I'd like to acknowledge that the other member of the selection committee is here in the audience, and I want to thank Ken Khalil for serving on that committee, along with Commissioner Bonfiglio. and
Thank you, Ken.
myself.
Well, I'm glad, they may want to make a motion first of all.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve the auditor that has been selected by the committee.
And that's subject to the changes also?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
okay,
additions.
thank you.
I second the motion.
Motion and second, any discussion? Thank you again. I'm sure you'll provide us with the best service you've had for, what is it now, 15
All
years or
those
so?
in favor, you forgot that part.
What's that?
You forgot all those in favor.
We have on the
step.
discussion part.
Oh, okay.
But thank you again for all of the work you do for us. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, moving on, we'll go to the retirement bonus for Bill Hallahan. Jamie?
Yes, this is, as I think you're all aware, Sergeant Bill Hallahan is retiring from the town after 28 years of service. And under town policies, there is a provision to apply a $100 per year recognition for his exemplary service to the town, but the town commission would need to approve that. And so I've made the recommendation per the resolution policy 2011-22. I'm requesting that the town commission authorize the payout of a longevity retirement bonus to Police Sergeant Bill Hallahan in his retirement of $2,800 based on that policy calculation. It is budgeted in your budget, but it's still a formality to approve it through you all. And I would just also, before you take action on that, alert you to the fact that on the 23rd of this month, when we do the employee holiday lunch right before the Christmas holiday, we were going to take the occasion to recognize Bill for his retirement at that time. he wants it to be low-key and understated.
We're not
so-
going to do that, right? Or make it more upbeat? Because I know how Bill is. Yeah, he wants it really low-key.
Anybody who wants to come by should.
What's that?
Anybody who wants to come by should.
Yeah, anybody wants to come by and embarrass Bill, we
He
can.
doesn't want a lot of fanfare, but we thought we would use that same opportunity because his last day is actually the 17th, the 19th, I'm sorry, and then he has some leave days, but he'll come back for that lunch event. And so with that, I look for your authorization for the retirement bonus under town policy.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go along with the longevity retirement bonus of $2,800 to Sergeant Hallahan.
I will happily second that motion.
So you will.
Yes.
Seeing there isn't any other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to resolutions. Tracy, you want to start with resolution number 2016-14?
Wait.
You have number 11 on action.
Oh, I jumped right over the body worn cameras. Sorry, Chief.
Last month's meeting, Mr. Bonfiglio requested information regarding consideration for implementation of a body-worn camera system within the police department of the town. That information is included in your packet. I tried to give you two estimates on programs. They are both different to give you an idea of the range of costs that may be associated with it. As well, I've given you some information on policies, procedures, national trends, local trends, and such in the package. I know that it's quite a bit of information, and I would like to offer that up for your suggestions.
Thank you. Since I'm the one who requested the information, and we certainly have a lot of information to digest, and it's not in the budget. We're down 2 commission members tonight. I think we're going to need a lot more input from the residents as to whether or not they want to carry this cost for the body cameras. So do we do it by motion? I think we should defer this for a future meeting. Do I need to do that by motion?
Or
You can if
You
you. I
can,
mean,
you can do it by consensus or motion.
Either one, I mean, because this is not an action, well, I guess it is an action
It's an
item,
action item.
but it's, I would prefer you do it by motion then if you want to defer it.
I move that we defer the consideration of body-worn cameras for a future meeting to be determined.
I'll second that.
It's motion and second. Any other discussion? Public comment.
Can we get a
Can you gotta come up?
approximate figure?
You gotta come up. You know the rules.
Dr. Toda, 4 Hudson Avenue. Can we get an approximate figure of what the cost is going to be, or is that not determined yet?
It's in the package that we got, and I think it's available online, too, if you go
Well,
down.
just so you,
Well, ask
I mean, we're looking at
the chief.
$30,500 for the implementation of it.
Implementation.
And that's not even the maintenance fees.
Very low-end cost, $26,500 implementation plus ongoing information technology and personnel costs that are associated with management and maintenance of it, which are kind of a nebulous out there cost right now. Up to $30,500 is another proposal for a startup fee with a $12,000 annual service fee for that, and then a continuing $19,000 annual service fee for that particular program. These systems are so new and being critiqued throughout the country, so we'll have to make a decision as to what's the best option for the town. My guess is you're looking at a minimum of $50,000 to $60,000 to start, and a very conservative estimate of $19,008 per year to continue.
Okay, thank you. It doesn't seem like a whole lot for us residents to have extra protection, but I'm sure we'll have to decide that soon.
I'm going to start calling you Dr. Rice now.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. All right, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, now we can go on to the resolutions.
Okay, resolution number 2016-14, designating the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections or designee, the town clerk or designee, and town manager or designee as the canvassing board to be in attendance for the testing of the computer electronic systems tabulating equipment to be used for the general election scheduled for March 14th, 2017, and to canvass returns of such election, including the absentee ballots, and assigning the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections or designee to handle the absentee ballots.
Okay,
I move that we approve resolution number 2016-14 as presented.
I'll second that.
motion and second. Any other discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Resolution number 2016-15. Tracy?
Authorizing the mayor and town clerk to execute the agreement for vote processing equipment use and election services by and between the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections and the town of Ocean Ridge.
Someone make a motion?
I move that we approve resolution number 2016-15 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? Public comment? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we're going to do a first reading of ordinances. Tracy, ordinance number 617.
An ordinance of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, amending its code of ordinances by amending Chapter 2 Administration, Article 6 Finance, Division 1 generally, and by creating a new Division 1 Purchasing Code to provide for regulations governing the purchasing of goods and services, providing for codification, repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, and an effective date.
Okay. Your motion?
Well, I got some questions. I just saw this in the package. I got the package, late last week. Why are we making this change? And why are we doing it without a little bit of advance notice so that we can chew on all the changes that you want? Is this something that is mandated by state law that we have to implement, like, before the end of the year?
No, not at all. And actually, that's my fault right there. I mean, you know, there's no timetable that pushes this. So if you want to discuss it and think about it, and I can have conversations with you, or you can take a look at it and have questions, we can talk about that. So there is no timetable that we're trying to meet on this. I can tell
Okay.
you that.
Well, it
Okay.
is a first reading, too.
Well, but if we do a first reading, then we have to do a second reading, and if we don't do it right away, we have to republish, and it costs money and all that stuff, so, I would move to defer this resolution, modifying the purchasing code, at least until, maybe next January, maybe even the February meeting. So, because I need some time to go through this, and there's some things that concern me. For example, the policy with respect to buying things less than 10, I know we already have that policy, but we need a resolution too, under some certain circumstances. And because this says, right now, we're authorizing the expenditure of funds, if I remember correctly, for $10,000 that are less that are budgeted. This, I believe, removes that issue of whether or not it's budgeted and just lets the discretionary spending of the funds.
I think we were, I was trying to be very careful not to, I guess, give the town manager any more authority than what he already has.
I don't want to, since we're going to defer it, but I don't want to get in a long discussion, but I'm looking at 2-216A. It says the town manager, and this is what we've got now. The town manager may approve all contracts for the purchase of commodities and/or contractual services for amounts up to and including $10,000 for unencumbered budgeted funds. So that, I'm reading that to mean that he can spend up to $10,000 if the items were already budgeted in our previous budget. This, and maybe I'm reading it incorrectly, seems to remove that requirement that the item that he's purchasing for less than $10,000 be in the budget.
No, it doesn't. I mean, if you look at the purchasing code, under Section C, under direct acquisition, it talks about the purchase of budgeted items between
Okay.
1,000 and 10,000. So it is covered, and that's why I'm saying we were trying to be very careful not to, I guess, give any more authority to any one individual than already exists currently in your code. What this, just very briefly, what this ordinance kind of does is to allow you, or it spells out and provides greater clarity as far as what is exempt, as far as like bidding requirements and things like
Okay.
that go, where that wasn't provided in your prior code. However, you know, anything that came to you before would still be coming to you now.
Okay. Well, let's defer this at least. I mean, my concern is not being able to get with you between now and January, because we have the holidays coming up, and I've got some trials coming up too over the holidays. So I move that we defer this until the February 2017 meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, motion and second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, do you want to, just before we go here, do you want to discuss real quick that Ocean, the Garden Club donation that Stella brought up?
I don't have a problem discussing it.
I mean, when did they brought it to us how long ago now?
Well, quite some time ago, I did get a memo that articulated all the various things that were going into Garden Club projects and the 50th year anniversary and various celebratory functions that will occur in March of this coming year. And it's been left for us to decide how much of a contribution we would like to make towards the collective cause. But specifically, I think where the underwriting is appreciated or sought is for some of the publications and documents that the Garden Club and projects that they're working on for the town specifically, not for the events per se. And they're looking for a contribution of any kind.
Do we have a number from them?
We do,
I
think.
heard a we do, huh?
Well, the number's different depending on what we're interested in funding. I don't know if.
Well, look, they've been a member of the community for 50 years, right? 50 years. So if you gave them $20 a year, it's $1,000. I mean, I'm just saying that, you know.
I'm not arguing with you. I just
No,
wanna
I'm
know
just
what
saying,
they're
is it
looking for.
$1,000 you guys looking for, about $1,000? Or can you come up and give us a,
Good evening, Lynn Allison, 6260 North Ocean. We submitted a proposal to Jamie after about 6 months of talking. We started really in June in the planning process. And there's kind of 5 things under the 50th celebration. And several of them are things that the club itself will be paying for. We're going to kind of decorate the hall with beautiful arrangements during a period of time that we have speakers. This will be open to the public. And we have 4 days or 3 days of speakers on relevant topics. And that's something that, you know, we're going to take care of. We're going to have an opening reception. But there's 2 things that were very exciting to us. One of them, which Gail and Betty have been working on, is the memorabilia. And there's literally, Betty has from 1967, I believe, until yesterday, all of the parties, all of the events. It's amazing. We looked yesterday at 5 books. We're going to be scanning them, and we're going to be putting them into a permanent book. In addition to that, Lisa and her technology is going to have a slideshow going during that week and forever, which will show all of everything that's in the book and the 50 years. But the other thing that's most exciting that we really hope you'll be able to do is that we're doing a book on the Barrier Islands and the dunes, and we wanted to go to all of the Barrier Islands as well as to the Federation, and it will be representative of the town as well as the Ocean Ridge Garden Club, because it's going to talk about native plants, and it's going to talk about, you know, how we can restore, and I'm sure Stella could give much more information on the details and substantive issues. But we wanted to send it out with the March Coastal Star, which has an 8,000 person mailing list. So basically, all of the things for that week, the total of what we were approximating was $14,000. The production of that particular book is $3,000, and plus the $8,000 if we get it into the Coastal Star for their distribution. So that's 11,000, and the other activities were an additional 3, and that's the budget. Anything and everything that you want to contribute would be very appreciated. Gail, anything else I left out?
Yes.
I would
I'm
like
sorry, I
to-
didn't even see.
I'd like to say that for years, the Garden Club has been talking about doing a book mainly on the care of the dunes, the proper plants and so forth. And there are a couple of really good experts in this area, as I'm sure Lynn knows. I would think that might be something that we could contribute to the town. I think it might be informative to the police department, because right now you can't, the cops don't know one plant from another on the dune if they see people planting and what all the regulations are. I think we could contribute to that a bit.
And also, you know, the way we've hired 2 people who are experts and who are editing and writing, as well as Jerry Lauer and as well as Kimberly. I'm sorry. Do you know the names of them?
Rob Barron, one of them?
Rob Barron is one of them,
Okay,
yeah.
I have
and the
all
other
faith in the world in him.
Yeah, so I mean, they're really the experts on all of this, and they're working with us, and of course, we have to contribute to them as well. So,
Okay, so
so how much?
How much?
Now, wait a minute, let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
So what are you planning to do? Have that book for sale or what?
You know, I don't think we have it for sale. Sally, yeah, please, jump in, right?
Because you weren't at our last
Right, well, I'm not on the
do
board.
not want to contradict.
No. Go right ahead.
What's happened now is that we thought it was too much money to do the whole barrier island. So we decided that we're only going to do Ocean Ridge.
Good.
So we'll be able to handle that for the 1,200 homes that are here or whatever. And Jerry is running it through with the Coastal Star.
What do you
So-
mean, he's going to publish it, put it in?
No, we're having it published. We're
Yeah.
having it published.
Yeah.
He's going to put it into the paper and hand it out to everyone like he does with the Coastal Star.
The full-
So it'll
the
be,
full
it'll be free
so-called
paper.
book?
The whole book. It's
Oh,
gonna
my
be a
word.
pamphlet. It will be mailed out to every every resident of Ocean Ridge. And then what we plan to do with it later on has nothing to do with you guys. Whether we sell it to a federation or to whatever, that has nothing to do with you. So the cost is considerably a lot lower than, we previously thought. So what we're looking for really is, because we feel that the book that we're doing on the memorabilia is going to be in the town library like forever and ever, we really would like a little bit help covering that. And the cost for that book is probably going to be about $2,000, because it's going to be a hardcover book, and it's going to be a nice book. Anything you would like to give us, we will accept. I hate to put a number on it, because the 15,000 that we were talking about has nothing to do with the town. This is our choice as a garden club to do whatever events we want to do. Whatever you guys think you can contribute, we would appreciate.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds good.
Right. The production of that book, though, is still $3,000. But instead of the 8,000 distribution, as Stella said, it'll be about 1,200. So that would come to about 4,200, and then the memorabilia book. So we leave it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, what's pleasure?
And I still say, I think the book would be of value. Of course, I haven't seen it, so I can't say for sure, but I think it would be something we should consider. But I think that, to be honest, and I know I'm a member of the Garden Club and have a lot of respect for it, I really think for the 50th anniversary, that's all we really, as a commission, should be contributing to.
I have a question for the town attorney. Can we authorize expenditure of funds when it's not listed on the agenda as an item?
Good point.
I would rather you come back and do that when you put it on the agenda, and then you come back and
All right.
make a motion at the next meeting. That would be my preference.
Okay. How about this? I move that we place on the next agenda, as an item for expenditure of $2,000 as a contribution to the Garden Club for production of the book, conditioned on them placing at least one copy of the book for free in our library.
Of course.
How's that? And that will be placed as an item for voting at the next meeting. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask just a
Okay.
qualifying question? For your contribution, whatever it may be for this book, is the town expecting any kind of published credit for that, or it's just a straight-out contribution, or that'll be determined at the next meeting?
We can figure out the mechanics at the next meeting. It probably ought to have some sort of a forward that says, thanks for the contribution to the town, something along those lines. But we can work on those details between now and the next meeting.
So for clarification, we'll bring it to you as a proposed action item at the January meeting,
Yes, yes.
with a finite amount and whatever details.
In a detailed, how you want something presented on the inside cover, like a dedication or something. Okay? Or stamp, however you want to do it. Okay.
All right, so basically, we're going to move it till next meeting and discuss it all over again, right?
May I ask one question of Stella or Lynn? When do you expect this to be out? And when is the Coastal Star going to put it in there?
We're going to put it in there March, and we're going to, because the week is March 20th to the 24th, and it will be out before then.
And when would it be available to review? Say if we wanted to, like myself, might want to review it before we vote on.
Well, at the last meeting, we saw a sample at the last Garden Club meeting.
Yep.
Kimberly sent around a sample of what it would look like, so I guess we'll keep doing that.
All right, wait, we're going beyond the, yeah.
Just contact Kimberly, she has a copy.
I guess I shouldn't have brought it up.
Also, Commissioner, I have a very early draft of it here in Town Hall that I can show you, that was provided to me a couple of weeks ago, but it's very early draft. It's,
Okay, so let's finish the motion, because it's going to propose
Yeah.
postponing it
I
till,
think
are
we
you going
have
to
a
second it,
motion.
or?
You want a second? Yes.
If
I'll
you wanted to
second
postpone it, do you want to second it?
it. Yeah.
Okay, second it. Any other discussion? So basically, next meeting, we're going to put on the agenda again, and we'll all discuss it. We'll have somebody else, we'll have Steve probably here too, so. We can discuss it again then, in more detail. If you have another number in mind, or anything else you want to bring forward, that'd be a good time to do it next meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for coming to a wonderful meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job, Joe.
Meeting adjourned.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Happy holidays, I'm sorry.
Happy holidays, don't forget